New report compares Trump to Reagan with shocking claim about best conservative president. Among conservative Americans, there isn't a president more respected than Ronald Reagan. The staunch Republican served as president during the 1980s. His influence restored our economy after the devastating Jimmy Carter years. He also helped end the Cold War and saw the Berlin Wall fall. But, a new report, from a very respected source, claims President Donald Trump is beating conservative favorite Ronald Reagan in a very important way. You might remember Republicans who opposed Donald Trump during the election. These Never Trump advocates touted the man's commitment to conservative values. Longtime conservative pundits claimed Trump would never make good on his promises. They only managed to expose their own biases and their roles as establishment insiders. Never-Trumpers are as corrupt as the Democrats. They wanted to maintain the status quo, preventing a man like Trump from making America great again. So, they lied, saying Trump had no intention of standing up for conservative values. Well, guess what? The widely respected conservative think tank the Heritage Foundation spoke about Trump's presidency so far. According to their own standards, President Donald Trump had done more to fulfill the conservative agenda in his first than even Ronald Reagan did. According to the Heritage Foundation, a widely respected conservative think tank, during his first year in office, Trump adopted nearly two-thirds, 64%, of Heritage's agenda. By comparison, Heritage says that former President Reagan enacted only 49% of its policy prescriptions. There is so much noise in this town that I think it obscures the real work that's being done, Heritage President Kay Coles James told the New York Times. This administration is doing quite well in terms of advancing a conservative agenda, clearly, quite well. In 2016, Heritage came up with 334 conservative policies, a wish list of sorts, for a new Republican administration. Trump has enacted 64% of those items. In 1981, his first year in office, Reagan scratched off only 49% of the items on the year's Heritage list. Source: Breitbart. This not only disproves Never-Trumpers, it completely humiliates them. They were totally wrong about President Trump. Everything they claimed he would do was false. Much like the liberal media and politicians, they lied about the man in the hopes of defeating him. However, the facts are clear. Trump is not only keeping to strong, conservative policies, but he's actually keeping his campaign promises. We have never seen a president work so hard to keep his word. Ed Foylner, a Heritage founder and former president, described Mr. Trump's thinking as liberated from the typical cautiousness of a president. Hell, why can't we do that? Let's try it. Let's make it happen, Mr. Foylner said, speaking of Mr. Trump's attitude. In some respects, Trump the non-politician has an incredible advantage, even over Ronald Reagan, Mr. Foylner added. Because Ronald Reagan knew there were certain things government couldn't do. Source: New York Times. President Trump is using the government to help Americans while reducing its power and overreach. He has cut regulation and taxes, so businesses and employees can thrive. Trump has used his executive authority to limit the scope of government agencies. This is a key step in making good on his word to strengthen the U.S. economy. And, of course, Trump is a master negotiator, who has won deal after deal for America. As great as Reagan was, few people could match the man who wrote the book on deal-making. Even perceived failings are actually in our favor. While Heritage found much that it liked about Mr. Trump's first year, it also found much that could be improved on, most notably the snail's pace of nominations by the White House. Of the 635 major postings across the executive branch that require Senate confirmation, the White House has no nominee for 245 of those. Source: New York Times. Make no mistake, Trump is doing this deliberately. Those 245 posts are most likely redundant. Keeping them unfilled means 245 fewer salaries the government has to pay for. And that's 245 fewer government flunkies abusing their power. That means smaller government, in unexpected ways. What do you think? Is Trump doing a better job than Reagan? Were the Never-Trumpers completely wrong? Let us know. And, be sure to spread the word about this stunning report. Everyone needs to know this, and we certainly don't expect the mainstream media to spread this kind of news.